Hello, and welcome back to Junker's Eve. I'm your host, Lord Rumfish. This is my character, Delphina. And I'm here to talk to you today about the career agents. Now, I know you're thinking, I already went through those. I'm ready to move on to the next thing. Well, I've got some food for thought for you today. And this could apply to a long-term player as well, not just a new player. So yes, you may have done the 5 initial career agent paths that you were presented with as a new player. Taught you some of the basic ropes of the game. But did you know that every faction has 3 career agent hubs? And did you know that you can repeat them? If you go to another one of the hubs, you can go and talk to one of the career agents at the new hub, and lo and behold, they'll offer you the missions again. You can fly all of the career agent missions all over. Since every faction has 3 of these, that means that you could do the set of newbie missions in total 12 times. That would be, three entire sets each for the 4 factions. Now you might be thinking, why on Earth? Why in the galaxy? Why in the Eve universe would I want to do that to myself? And there are a couple of reasons. One is that if you're thinking about flying level 1 or 2 missions, the pay on these missions is pretty reasonable. Especially when you come back in with a fresh look, with experienced eyes on the mission. And you can fly in and equip a salvager, and you can try to salvage the wrecks from the missions. Or maybe the first time you flew through there, you didn't mine all of the Kernite in one of the missions where there are Kernite asteroids. And it turns out those are very valuable, and normally you can only find those in low security systems. And it's worth your time and trouble to go ahead and mine out those Kernite asteroids. Basically, there are some little tricks you can do to get added value out of these. And the value's not bad. You end up with about 5 to 6 million ISK and a whole bunch of frigates. Little faction ships for each of the factions. And you get some excess things too that you won't end up needing. You'll get skill books if you haven't trained into the, frigate and destroyer skills for the other factions. You'll be able to train those skills as you do this. You'll also get a bunch of repeat skill books. You can collect those up, and eventually you could, take them with a big load of junk and go sell them in Jita. They won't be worth a lot of money, but you can still do it. Basically, and there's another reason that experienced players would be interested in doing these. And when you do the last quest for each of these people, you get a big bump of faction standing. And an older player, it's possible that they could have tanked their faction standing with some of the empires. And it's a pretty meaningful shift of your faction standing. So, all those reasons combined means that you could fly around the galaxy doing these missions for a long, long while, collecting up a whole bunch of frigates and destroyers along the way. And making, not great money, but not the worst money either. Especially if you're new. And I guess lastly, if you're a little crazy like me, maybe you find something a little bit satisfying about the completionist element of it. So, I'm not going to actually walk you through all of these because, obviously, you can do that yourself, and you should do that yourself. They teach you a lot of valuable things. Instead, I want to point you to where all of them are. So this website is Eve University. right? You can see up here, wiki.eveuniversity.org. So these are the systems that have the locations of the career agents. So you'll probably recognize one of the names on this list as being a place where you've still got a bunch of stuff parked from when you originally did these quests. But this, you can take a screenshot, you can refer here, and go look up this website, and you can find these places if you're interested in going and repeating these quests again. And it even has some considerations for the mission order. So you can do them in any order, but it makes a point that Explorer and Enforcer don't have a lot of initial requirements, so they're easy to complete first. The second mission reward in Explorer gives you the ship that you would turn in at the end of making Mountains of Molehills. Enforcer, it just says, if you do Explorer first, that those might be better than your Corvette, but the Corvette is capable of doing the Enforcer missions until it gives you a better ship. Then you've got Soldier of Fortune. Some of the main tricks you can do here is you're going to fly to destruction twice. So you'll use the frigate that's provided in Angel of Mercy, but you can insure it. You can right-click and get the ship insured and buy platinum level insurance, and you are going to get a payout when you complete the mission. And then in the stand, it makes a note that you can use a free Corvette, and you could equip 2 civilian guns instead of the mining laser. And you should be able to complete the stand that way. If you ended up using something that wasn't a free Corvette, then you should also get that platinum level insured so you can recoup some of your money. I found on both of these missions that you can use the civilian guns that you can produce off of free Corvettes, like I explained in episode 1. And that is good enough to complete these missions. Main other interesting point here, making Mountains of Molehills, like mission number 9 it says, is when you get to mine the Kernite. And it says that if you mine at least 4,000 units of Kernite and reprocess it, that will complete the Air Career Program Industrialist tasks for mining and reprocessing Kernite. That's interesting to note. It's an easy way to check those off of your bucket list without having to leave HiSec. And then the faction standing gain down here, it says it's 1.5%. It's a good bump. It is a pretty big bump. So all of this is to say that it's not necessary, of course, to complete all of these missions a second time, let alone a 12th time, but you can. It's an option, and it's a pretty easy way to get a bunch of ships from the different factions. And last thing I'll leave you with here, anytime that you're doing missions, it's always worth checking to see if there might be a interesting belt of, like, ore. Sometimes, once in a great while, you'll be just flying a regular mission and there'll be some interesting ore in that you can mine out of like a combat site mission, whatever. So just keep your eyes open, pay attention to your surroundings, click over to your other feeds on your overview once in a while just to see if there might be something there. As for me, I fully intend on finishing all of these 12 times at some point. I'm not going to hurry, but I like the completionist element of it. Except. Until next time, never stop honing your critical thinking and empathy.